was doing. I mean, this, for me, it was true trial and error, and it was like no holds barred. I was at war with myself, I was at war with the world, and I was going to make this thing happen. And I think over the years of that struggle, having gone in and out of different relationships, and the whole thing is like, I got your back. People tell you they got your back, but the moment you give it to them, they stab you with it. At least that was my experience, right? So I got to the point I was always looking over my shoulder physically as well as emotionally and all that other kind of stuff. It just became a wreck, and I was like, you know what, it shouldn't be that way. And I was thinking, if it's like that for me, I mean, life really sucks. And this is the place that I was in. But then as I started to read more and more books, because I knew I had to get something together up here. I mean, because I was just completely shipwrecked in my mind, and I knew that nothing in my life was going to change. So tell people, you'll never change what's in your hand until you change what's in your head, right? So I said, well, I have to take responsibility and change what's in my head. It's not going to happen overnight. And each time I tried to change something new in my mind, all the old things were trying to, continue to, to force themselves there. So it was an ongoing battle. But eventually, I started to come to a place where I started to become more familiar with success strategies and dealing with your mind and dealing with your focus and dealing with your emotions. And I started to become passionate about helping people as I was starting to help myself. So I was like, wow, if I can do this without question, having come from the place that I had come from, kicked out of high school, shot, bankrupt, homeless, I was able to turn myself around without the help of assistance of the government, of family, of friends. I had a single person around me cheering me on. I literally did it from my own gut. I knew at that point in time it was possible. I didn't have any kind of resources, like nobody was giving me funds or anything like that. Nobody was giving me loans to do anything. It was like literally doing it from the ground up. Now, credit to a guy named Fred Burns who allowed me to sleep on the floor of an empty office space. And then I took a borrowed computer and borrowed internet connection. And I started learning how to do, futures and commodities trades. But for me, initially, it was just a form of distraction because I was really depressed out of my mind. And I developed this skill somehow. I don't even know where it came from, but I developed this ability to know what the direction of the markets was going to be. And I ended up giving that as other people as a gift on these different news groups back in the late 1990s. Eventually, it got to the point where it's like I realized, based on somebody offering me a little bit of money to teach them how to do what I was doing, that, I could probably turn this into a business. I was nervous. I had no idea how to do it. And, the first thing about doing business online, how was I going to collect the money? I had to start finding that out. How do you put on websites? Not a single person there to help me to do it, but I figured it all out to get it done. And when I officially launched was January 1st, 2000. 2 weeks later, I made just over $35,000 starting from scratch. 12 months after that, my first 12 months on the internet, I did over $500,000 in business. And for me, the money was huge, but for me, it was just such a huge contrast from where my life was. And even up to this point, it's like, I know what's possible for people. I know without question that people stop making excuses, you stop giving themselves these stories to make it okay, to not follow through, and to not dig deep and to stand for something. If they stop doing that and they start doing what it is they know they're capable of, their life would be unbelievable. And because I knew that, I wanted to do whatever it is I could to help people. Now, granted, the service that I have that I charge for, but there's a lot of free stuff that I put out, videos and audios and free reports and stuff, and then I wrote this book. And the book was based on what it is I've learned over the last 10 years. Up to that point, it was close to 10 years when you consider all the time I was on the internet just doing stuff for free. But having gone on to make millions of dollars myself and helping others to do the same thing, to start new companies, turn around failing companies, and to grow existing companies that had reached a plateau, I realized that the one thing they all had in common were very, very specific patterns. And I said, well, what are those patterns? That if a person used them, regardless of the industry they wanted to get in, regardless of where they're located geographically, if they were to use these, they can become successful. Now, the success levels would vary, but they could become successful. So I identified what those 7 things were, and then I wrote about it. I put them together in a book that's just over 300 pages, and I said, well, you know what, I could sell this. In fact, I had some publishers like Wiley and others who we'd love to publish a book for you. I decided with this book, I wanted to give it away. I wanted to give it away as a form of introducing myself to people. The one, I want to know that I care about them, even if I don't know them. I can kind of relate to the pain and to the struggle. Our pain is real and it's really big to us, but I know what it's like to not have anything. So I wanted to share with people what it is I've learned. I'm like, listen, if you're willing to take the steps You know, I can show you the door, but you gotta walk through it. If you're willing to walk through it, if your whole thing is, I got the energy, I got the passion, I got the commitment, I just need a vehicle, I'll show you the vehicle, I'll show you the way to do it. So for me, the way to reach out to people, to build relationships with people, and kind of like extend my hand and introduce them, was to give them real stuff. If we were never to ever meet again, and you were to use what's in this, with an existing business or a new business, you will be better off financially, without question. So I didn't hold anything back. I said, these are the exact set of steps to use, no fluff, no filler. Follow these, you can have success in an existing business or a new business, doesn't matter. And I put it together, and that was like a year and a half ago, and I've been giving it away ever since.
Wow. Well, it's changed my life. It's transformed my life.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
And, well, thank you. And thank you for allowing me to give your book away on my website.
Awesome. And all people have to do is just take it.
That's it.
It's
take
free.
it. It's free.
Now, if they want to give you some money for it, they can, and you don't even have to tell them.
I think we'll just give it away.
We'll just give it away for free.